Newsweek. Donald Trump announces second military strike on boat departing Venezuela. President Donald Trump said Monday that the U.S. military conducted a kinetic strike against another suspected drug cartel boat from Venezuela. Right, so we've all seen the viral video of the strike on the boat, that motorboat, that supposedly was headed to the U.S. with drugs in it. Wouldn't be surprised if that was true, because we all know this sort of stuff happens, right? So it looks like President Trump is taking no prisoners. He's just like, this can't happen anymore. This is how we're going to deal with it. If you want to take the chance that you're going to be completely and utterly destroyed in international waters, okay, go ahead and bring drugs. Try bringing drugs here. It's fine. The strike, which took place in the U.S. Southern Command Area of Responsibility, was announced in a message on Truth Social where Trump warned of further action against drug traffickers targeting Americans. The vessel was allegedly carrying narcotics en route to the U.S. This morning, on my orders, U.S. military forces conducted a second kinetic strike against positively identified, extraordinarily violent drug trafficking cartels and narco-terrorists in the Southcom area of responsibility, Trump posted. He confirmed that 3 men aboard were killed, adding no U.S. forces were harmed in this strike. In the same post, Trump emphasized the strategic and domestic rationale behind the attack, calling the Venezuelan cartels a threat to U.S. national security, foreign policy, and vital U.S. interests. He further warned, if you are transporting drugs that can kill Americans, we are hunting you. Those are some pretty strong words. So, looks like he's living up to what he campaigned on. Why it matters. Earlier this month, the U.S. carried out a missile strike on a boat Trump said was carrying drugs and operated by Venezuela-based Tren de Aragua cartel, which he designated a terrorist organization by executive order at the start of the year. The Trump administration has also accused Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro of leading a cartel to flood the U.S. with drugs and doubled the reward for his capture from $25 million to $50 million. Huh. Well, so far it hasn't worked. I'm sure he has lots of security, though, so let's see what this video has to say here.
And Garrett, this is all happening amid new developments in tensions between the United States and Venezuela. What are you learning there?
Another thing we're watching closely, 5 F-35 fighters were seen landing in Puerto Rico on Saturday, part, we believe, of this U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean to counter what the White House says has been drug trafficking and gang activity by Venezuela. The Venezuelan government said that the U.S. Navy and Marines also intercepted and boarded a Venezuelan tuna fishing boat off their coast on Friday in an incident they're calling a provocation that could potentially justify a military escalation in the Caribbean. President Trump was asked last night about a possible direct strike on Venezuela in the future, and he didn't rule it out. It's clearly a tense situation with the whole world watching closely. Laura?
Garrett Haake at the White House. Thank you, Garrett.
Okay, so that sounds pretty ominous, like we might be going to war with Venezuela. Venezuela is about 1/10 the size of the continental United States. Its population is about 1/10 that of the United States. So we also have the largest military in the world. I don't think Venezuela really has a chance against the United States, so I wouldn't worry too much. If they're going, oh my gosh, no, it's a war. Trump said no new wars, all that stuff. I know, Trump said no new wars. But if Maduro wants to push it, wants to keep shooting his mouth off, wants to attack the United States, wants to keep sending mind-altering, deadly drugs to the United States, wants to enforce illegal immigration or encourage illegal immigration into the United States, then what choice do we have but to escalate against that country, right? He knows the laws. You're not supposed to send people here illegally, but he is. The president of the country is sending people here illegally. You're not supposed to be sending these drugs into the country, but he is. We don't have to go to him and say, hey, please don't do that, although we probably have. We don't have to because he already knows the law, but he's doing it anyway. He's encouraging this to happen. At least that's what Trump is telling us. I don't know if that's true. I mean, in fact, I think that we have evidence that he is. I don't remember now, but I don't speak Spanish. So if anybody out there, my fans out there speak Spanish, please forward that to me. What to know? The strike marks a clear escalation in Trump's use of military force to target drug trafficking networks. Trump released a 30-second video showing a boat exploding and burning at sea, but gave no evidence to support the claims that it was carrying narcotics. On Sunday, speaking to reporters in Morristown, New Jersey, Trump refused to rule out strikes on mainland Venezuela, when asked about possible retaliation from President Nicolas Maduro. We'll see what happens, Trump said. Venezuela is sending us their gang members, their drug dealers, and drugs. It's not acceptable. Exactly. You want to send that stuff here? No, I don't want that stuff here. Keep it in your own country. I understand that your country is terrible, and these people are trying to make a living any way that they can, but I'm sorry, you're making a living at the expense of my neighbors. No, I don't accept that. We're gonna have to do something about it to keep you from doing that. If this is what it takes to keep you from doing that, this is what it takes. Maduro responded Monday, calling the strike a criminal attack and accusing the U.S. of launching a wider campaign against his country. At a press conference in Caracas with top military officials, he said the attack was part of judicial, political, diplomatic, and military aggression. Maduro also said all communication with the Trump administration had broken down and called Secretary of State Marco Rubio the Lord of Death and War for his repeated threats. Oh no. I would call you the Lord of Death and War, more so than Marco Rubio, since you've sent how many thousands of pounds of drugs here that have caused how many deaths of American citizens? Too many. And how many of your own people are starving to death because you don't know how to rule? What people are saying. Rubio, speaking to Fox News during a visit to Jerusalem, said, "We're not going to have a cartel operating or masquerading as a government operating in our own hemisphere." I would say anywhere in the world is really what matters. Maduro, during a press conference with top military officials, said, "Communications have been degraded. They are broken, but not because of our responsibility. We are people of our word, of dialogue and of peace, but we do not function with psychological warfare, blackmail, or threats. The people of your word, of dialogue and of peace." That's what you are? While you send deadly drugs to the United States illegally? Thank you. What happens next? Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Monday that Trump will keep using the military to target drug cartels. Rubio reiterated that the U.S. doesn't see Maduro as his country's rightful leader, but as the head of a drug cartel. A picture here of, let me see, a Boeing V-22 Osprey of the U.S. Marines takes off during an exercise at Roosevelt Roads Naval Station, a former U.S. Navy base, on September 13th, 2025, in Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. So now you're probably thinking, well, you're being hypocritical anti-woke warrior because you say, don't hurt people. Right. This is self-defense. That's what it boils down to. We're defending ourselves against these deadly drugs which are illegally coming into our country. This is something that should have been taken care of 40 years ago, but it wasn't. Now you might be thinking, okay, well, what does this have to do with woke? Because this is a woke issue. Well, illegal immigration is definitely a woke issue because we know that that was being allowed to happen, so it could dilute the white race in the United States. So we know that's largely why that was happening, because white people are evil. Just all we do is go around colonizing everybody, hurting everybody. That's just how it is, right? Not a good bone in a white person's body. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's just all bad. Of course, I'm being sarcastic. White people are no more, no less evil than anybody else. Maybe they are actually less evil. I don't know. There may be some sort of genetic component there. Because I know, at least culturally, maybe this is a genetic thing. I don't know. White people have said, well, everybody's basically equal. All different races. There should be no discrimination based on race. Everybody should have only discrimination based on merit. Right? Every white country, except for maybe Russia, on the whole earth, has said that. You don't see that in other countries. Other countries do segregate based on race still. But in Europe, in North America, in Australia, we've all said, no, if you can do the job, hey, we'll hire you. What you look like shouldn't make a difference. So, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about that. You can figure that out for yourself. Whether or not that's a race thing, whether it's a culture thing, whatever it is. I don't know where it comes from. It's not important to if it comes from race or if it comes from culture. The important thing is it's practice. So, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you're still subscribed. YouTube does unsubscribe people. You can find me on Twitter, X. You can find me on Rumble. And we'll see you all in the next video.